Hi there everyone, I'm Phil and Caroline isn't here, but she will be soon, at least that's the plan. So hopefully we've got sound and hopefully we've got vision. So that would be a good start. If even though I'm one horse down, at least we're in contact. So nobody is saying no sound, so that looks good. And I can see I've got a picture because it's on the other monitor. But as Caroline said, I've got to keep an eye on this monitor because that one is running slightly behind because it's on the same time as the rest of you. What has happened is Timothy, tech support Tim, went off to Cardiff for the day today with his friend Oddie. And all was going well, but trains are not the most reliable form of transport these days. Having said that, we've just spent 2 journeys under the English Channel in one. But obviously it's easier to get to France and back than it is to get to Cardiff and back, because they've dropped him off in Ystrad, which is about 15 minutes away, and said a bus should pick you up. No bus has arrived and there are so many people come off the train, they're going to need several buses. So he rang for help. So Caroline has left me written instructions on how to start this thing, and then she's disappeared and left me to it until she gets back. So the first thing I'm going to do is have a quick check on who was in first today. Now then, let's have a look. On my screen it says first one in was Ed Creative. That was first one in. There you go, Ed. And then another familiar sight, Lexi B. And then, the lady with the spanner, Phyllis Williams. There we go. So it's Ed, Lexi and Phyllis were the first 3 in on my screen this evening. And it's great to have you all with us. And hopefully we'll have a fun time. That I don't know what the weather is like in your part of the world at the moment, but here it's crazy. Folks, whatever your thoughts are on global warming, let me tell you something. When you have sunshine every day for a month in Wales, something's going on somewhere. It has been amazing. We've just had sunny day after sunny day after sunny day, and now they're predicting another week or so of sunny days. And France was warm. We were over there with Max. We took a trip over to Disney with Max, his first ever trip. He's 4 years old. And it was 30 degrees at 6 o'clock in the evening over there, which was even warmer than here, which is absolutely crazy temperatures. But we've had it beautiful. The weather's been glorious and we're enjoying it. There's been a breeze, but it's just nice to be able to get out and do things. So hopefully you're having the best of weather. Of course, as soon as the good news comes, it brings the bad news with it, because now they're panicking because it seems that we're starting to get wildfires because we've had a dry spell for more than 2 weeks. So it's, whatever happens, there's always something to counterbalance it. But still, it's lovely here. And there we are, beautiful winter's day in New Zealand. There we go, see? It's nice when they're having a winter's day in New Zealand and we're having a sunny day over here. Opposite sides of the world. There, Linda. We've had a lovely week here in Scotland. That's from Christina. We've had storms in Virginia. Now then, I know that one of our viewers has been having a bit of a dry spell, and that's Kathy Goodman. Now I'm going to get clever now. I don't know how to do this, but I'm going to see if I can put up the picture that Kathy sent. Because Kathy was saying that she, in her part of the neck of the woods, her part of the world, there's been a dry spell and the river levels have dropped. And she usually goes on the Fox River near a steel mill and does a little bit of mudlarking. But she decided now she could get down to the bankings and have a little rummage around with a trowel. And I'm about to be saved from pressing the wrong button, because Caroline will be able to find this photo and not lose you all. So that will be good. Right. I was just talking about Kathy's picture of the bottles. So I don't know if you can get that one.
Kathy there.
Oh, there we go. Now then, Kathy said, there's nothing amazing there, but they were amazing to me. And as I explained to Kathy in my reply, that's what it's all about, folks. It's not the value of the find, it's the fun you have finding it. And that middle bottle there, that tallest and most complete one, is very similar to one that we have found, which I liked, the faceted one.
I like the top, top right-hand one looks aqua-coloured as well.
Yeah, but I was looking at the one in the centre, because that's quite nice as well. That's got that sort of 50 pence effect and possibly rounded at the top a little. Looks almost sort of 1930s style. But some lovely things there. And
hello to everyone.
Yes, this is Caroline. Hello,
I'm Caroline.
Phil. This is Caroline.
Oh.
Yes, I have explained the trauma.
Right.
The Russian run.
And I must say, I am impressed. You've got sound.
I know.
Actually got Phil on screen. I was coming home in the car thinking...
Oh, we got it all.
Anything could have happened.
I've even done first three in. Yeah, it was Ed,
wow,
Lexi and the lady with the spanner.
I'm sure everybody's absolutely stunned.
Yeah, well, there was people out there rooting for me, praying for me.
You needed it.
We've got your back, Phil. They were all on my side.
Linda said, well done, welcome Caroline, he done good so far.
Yes, but no, I was just saying about the weather, that they're now worrying about wildfires and that, and I was asking how weather was going, and we just having a look, and Scotland's had it quite nice, and it's a nice winter's day in New Zealand, and there's been a few reports of different weathers, but some people are having storms. It's always different everywhere. Our weather in the US, Ohio, is going to be the same as Wales, Sandy says. There we go. Which isn't the sort of thing you want to say usually, but at the moment, as I said, we've had sunshine.
Well, some of the plants in my garden are really starting to suffer now because they haven't got enough water. That very rarely happens.
Drought conditions. Courtesy of the fact that we keep nipping away for a few days and you're not here to be able to water. And
tech support Tim tries his best.
Yes, which is why all the plants die.
We won't mention that.
No, not at all, not at all. But
right,
as I say, everyone's in.
Yeah,
I've got it all sorted.
Have you done any questions?
I haven't done a single solitary question.
You need to get a question done then.
Okay, let's do a question. The boss is back. Now, there was reference in the video this week to King Alfred, and it was one of the links to the location was that what was the link between King Alfred, who burnt the cakes, and the town of Tiverton. And of course, it was in his will that the town name Tiverton first appeared written in a legal document, because it was part of the estate that was under his rule. But of course, I made reference to the fact he burnt the cakes, and the story is told that King Alfred was on the run and he took to hiding in the home of a poor woman. She had to be busy doing something, so she asked him to keep an eye on the little bread cakes that she was cooking, but with all the pressures on his mind, he wasn't focusing.
No, he had one job to do. One job!
Run the country.
He didn't have to run the country.
While being chased in fear of his life. And for some reason...
Excuses.
He felt this was more important than her food. But being a poor woman, she didn't feel that it was more important than her food. So it is said that she told the king off.
Lexi said, what sort of cake was it? I would imagine by the time he'd finished, it was a rock cake.
Well, from what I've studied and read, they've said it was, although it's referred to in burning the cakes, she wouldn't have been making fairy cakes or anything like that. It would have been small bread bap type things. But anyway, they do say he burned them. My question is...
what's your question?
When King Alfred burnt the cakes, who was he running from? A, the Romans, B, the Normans, or C, the Vikings?
Go!
See, we've had all sorts of people to run from in this country over the years. For a proud island nation, we've been conquered several times. We're always in bother. But was it the Romans, was it the Normans, or was it the Vikings on this occasion that were giving chase to the king?
Now, Lise Warren said, I started to lark in my little farm dump. Hadn't been in 2 years because of bad knees. Both are now replaced and I can walk again. Oh, congratulations on 2 new knees. I bet it's marvellous to be able to get out and about again and do the things you want to do.
Yes, indeed.
Well, Ed, like me, thought rock cakes as well. We've got the same sense of humour, Ed. Sorry. My sense of humour is awful. I get it from my father. His was terrible too.
Oh, Lexi's giving some useful information there for survival training.
Yeah, so look, where's that?
There's a fungus called King Alfred's cake. You can use it to light the fire as it
holds ember. Oh, that's interesting.
So there we go.
Ooh.
Right then, let's have a little look here. Ooh, do you know what? In the first 3 answers, I've got a C, an A and a B. So I've definitely got at least one right answer because I had all 3 in the first 3.
Well, it just goes to show how messed up this system is. I wait for Phil to say what he's say the last A this, B this, C this, and I hit go at that very second. And Ed said, "Wow, go appeared before the question." So that just goes to show when we get maybe you think your answer came before somebody else's. It's completely it's just mad.
Random.
This system. It's random. It's ridiculous.
Goodness help us when
we have to go what comes on the screen because it's just a mess.
Goodness help us when the computers take over. It's bad enough now.
Imagine when they're controlling all the cars. They can't even control our answers.
I know. It's so funny. They keep talking about, we're going to have driverless cars and we're going to have full coverage. And we're driving up the M4, one of the major motorway out of Wales, and we can't even keep smooth country on DAB. Lose signal. Can't get nothing. Can't even get radio signal. They said, oh gosh, Uncle Albert was around and worrying about it, and he's been gone 5 years. And he used to worry because they were going to shut off the FM signal because and they had announced when they were going to do it because we'll be all DAB. It's the future, it's the world, and they can't get the blooming signal to run, so they've had to leave us all on the old stuff so that at least we can tune into FM and have a go. But
hello, West Country Medlocks.
There's your world.
Hello to everybody as well. I haven't said hello to many people tonight because I wasn't here. So hello to everyone.
Indeed.
And don't forget, as usual, if it's your first time in on our live, give me a big line of smiley faces and I'll spot you then.
Well, this is proving to be an interesting evening on the question. But I can announce that we have numerous answers.
Yeah.
And I would say at this moment in time, the correct answer is the least popular answer.
Ooh.
Because he was on the run from the Vikings.
You just don't think of that, do you? You think of the Vikings as being further back.
Well, the Normans landed in 1066 and he was around in the 7th or 8th century. So he was before the Normans and after the Romans had done a bunk in about 400. So we're looking at the Vikings were the ones that were giving him some bother, which means the answer is C, which also means the very first answer in was correct.
Ooh,
yes,
impressive.
Dan Fetters.
Well done, Dan.
It all goes to pot from there because we've got all sorts of Vikings and everything after that. We haven't got Vikings for a bit then. We haven't got Vikings
hello, Midnight Musings. We've got lots and lots of smiley faces.
Hello.
Hello, lovely to have you join us.
Lovely you're with us. And we then got 2 in a row.
2 in a row.
Tina Thompson.
Well done, Tina.
And Linda Peterson.
Well done, Linda.
So it's Dan, Tina and Linda with the first 3 C's in. And then Andrea Masari got C. Judy Erickson got C. And that was it. There were only 5 correct answers out of all the answers today. There we go. Now, I wasn't sure how that one would play out, but it worked. Caught them out.
Yep. Hello, Javier.
Yes.
Right then, so I'm going to do now, before I spoil my Happy Mail, I'm completely confused now, I'm going to show you what my Happy Mail was.
She's got to show you because she's about to use it.
There we go. Yes,
I want to use your Happy Mail, so therefore you've got to show it before it comes on screen.
I've had this letter, and this is from Glenn Device. Dear friends, I feel bad that you gave up paper straws during the live stream. I hate the flimsy ones, so here are some reusable ones. If you don't like silicone, I'm also including some long plastic ones for water bottles. And I always enjoy the videos on both channels, so thank you for that lovely letter and comment. Thank you for my straws. I'm going to show you. I've never seen these before. These are called squeaky clean straws. And you open them, you use them as a straw, and then you open them up so you can give the inside a good wash, and then you clip them back together. Now, I haven't opened them. I wanted to show you them in the packet.
Yeah.
There.
And you've opened these.
I've opened these because I needed a straw before I
could
came
see one down there.
And I'd already read the box, and it said you can shorten them. It's with somewhere on here. Oh, it does say anyway. Here we go. You can also, they are designed to fit a 40-ounce travel tumbler. You can also use scissors to cut to the size you want. And I thought, I may need to do that. Well, this is the tumbler I usually use, and I didn't have time to fill it. You can see that would be quite a reasonable length, but
bit OT too.
Look at that. So in case you think, why is Caroline drinking out a very long straw? It's because I just opened this up on the way down, gave it a quick swill. And yes, it is long, but I'm not going to cut it because I'll be using it in my other one.
Using your anti-tip.
At that length, it takes forever to get the water to come up the straw. But thank you ever so much. I may actually cut one of these in half and use these for shorter glasses and then keep the longer ones for my red one. But thank you ever so much, Glenda. They're very much appreciated, and they were a lovely surprise. I wasn't expecting them. I thought, what's in this package? And it was straws. And I do love my straws, so thank you ever so much.
The problem solved. What we noticed in France is that they don't give straws anymore in McDonald's.
Now, we don't know whether they give straws in McDonald's here, do we? When did we last have a McDonald's with a straw in?
I haven't got a clue.
We don't go very often.
But they had switched over to paper straws, but now I think somebody suddenly thought, hang on, we're trying not to use plastic straws, so we're using paper straws. Everybody's complaining about paper straws. Why don't we not have a straw? You don't have a straw when you have a cup of coffee, so now they've got coffee tops on them where you just poke the hole through and drink, and they don't use straws.
No.
Now, whether that's true here, I don't know.
If you've been to McDonald's recently, let us know. Do they still use straws in McDonald's in the UK?
But I know they don't in France.
Or whatever country you're in.
Because they looked at me funny when I tried to get one for Max.
It was really funny. We went in and I have no idea what the word for straw is. I've never, ever had to use the word straw. And so I remember how I phrased it now, but I used the French, and then I said, avez-vous un...
And they go, no.
Okay, she's a crazy woman, let's get out of here. But I thought, how else do you describe straw? I didn't want to say a long thing you suck.
No, when I said the word straw, the one lady understood what
did she?
What
all right, I was looking at the man, I really
yeah.
don't know my actions. In a galaxy far away, Darth said it needs to be a bit longer so you can put the glass on the floor and still drink. It wouldn't need to be much longer. And
at least you keep the glass away from the computer until you get your anti-tippy tumbler.
Well, Ed said you can put the drink on a table and no need to bend. That would be good, wouldn't it? But as it is, I keep it down here. But
well, we're getting some feedback on our inquiry because West Country Mudlarks are saying yes, they do.
Right.
And Lexi said paper straws at ours the other week.
Right.
So
looks like it's just in France then.
Yeah, which doesn't surprise me because they do their own thing in France. Like when they opened the very first McDonald's in France, they would not sell the nuggets that they were selling in the UK.
No, they wouldn't use the mush.
They insisted
chicken.
on it being a piece of chicken in the nugget, not pulverised and reprocessed.
Pulverised. It's a very funny word, pulverised, isn't it?
So instead of making like a shape and then resetting it, they wanted a piece of chicken and they wouldn't sell it because they're very sort of picky about things like that.
Well, thank you, Ed. Straw is pie. He googled it. Thank you ever so much.
Oh, there we go.
Vous avez un pie?
There we are. Now next time we'll be able to ask for a straw in French and be told in French, no. None.
And Andrea Masari said they use paper straws in the US. I had silicone straws that I carry with me. Good idea.
Yeah, and West Country was saying the paper ones don't last with a milkshake.
Oh, it's like when we were kids. Do you remember? Some of you may remember. We had a bottle of milk and you had your straw, and for the first 2 or 3 mouthfuls it would be fine, and then it would go flat. So you'd sort of try to wiggle it back into a circle, turn your straw up the other way. You could get perhaps one suck out of that, and then that end would go soggy as well.
Which is why they invented plastic straws and decided we'll destroy the planet. Because at that time, nobody realised the problem we would have, or at least we weren't aware of the problem we would later have. And it did solve a problem. The problem that paper straws didn't work.
But there were very frustrated children right throughout the country.
When we decided we wanted to get rid of plastic straws, we thought, we've got this brilliant idea. Let's use the thing that didn't work before. And I thought...
Some of them are thicker. I've been in somewhere and they give me really thick, almost
like
cardboard.
card.
That lasted.
Yeah, but it'll all go round in circles, I dare say.
Rachel uses stainless steel straws and Lexi has paper straws with flamingos on. Ooh, a bit of posh there. Well. West Country Muddock said, oh my God, I remember that. It was very frustrating, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think everyone across the country remembers because we had the free milk and they were white little straws and they weren't very thick, so they collapsed very quickly. Yeah, not a good idea. Now, thank you everyone for your comments. I've been reading through comments, but having taken time out, I've been inundated with work. I am working on a tight schedule. I've spent all day today working. But I've been having a quick read through and thank you for all your comments, and it's lovely to see how many people enjoyed the flowers, the garden and Caroline's commentary on such things, because I forget who it was. I think it was Terry may have made a comment about Caroline's ability to recognise plants, and as I said, it does come from a misspent youth sitting in her granny's house with her granny's garden encyclopedia as a child and reading the thing from cover to cover.
Well, in our house, books had no importance at all. We just had one colouring book every Christmas from Santa, and there was no reading material at all. But I'd go to my granny's and she had, I can still remember them now, they were like cardboard with a red like card with red cloth covering cardboard on the covers. They were about this wide, but then they had like a white jacket on, but there was a little cut on the spine. You could see through to see which book it was. And she must have been 26, I assume. And I used to get them and I'd read them and I learned all the Latin names for things because I just loved learning. And
one like me.
When my granny died, one of her children decided, right, what we're going to do is we're going to share everything out to the people who liked the things she had. So they decided that between, I think there were 7 grandchildren, they would divide up this encyclopedia set into 7 piles of 2 or 3 books each. And I can't remember what I got. I know I got X. And it was pretty useless. That X, Y, and Z, I think it was, all in the same one. Which was zinnias and things like that. But it really was. Why didn't they just give one person the whole set?
That's right. And that person should have been you.
No, I would have loved it.
Because you'd read it. But yeah, Caroline does have quite a knowledge. Admittedly, these days, you take the odd guess.
Yes.
And
since
sometimes,
my TIA, I'm useless. I'm terrible.
And I should qualify the fact, please do not rely on the information Caroline gives, as she doesn't always tell the truth. I'm thinking of Llanelli when we were in the grounds, and even I detected a slight case of making up Latin words.
I think it was a very... Well, the whole point of the
like
Latin is...
Spicius arpricius or something.
Yeah. It's described...
That was Ollie, wasn't it?
I'm sure that's what it really is.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for me, people would not realise that they do have dangerous plants in parks.
I know.
So if you see a plant inside a cage, don't stick your hand in, you'll lose your fingers.
It's not just in parks. They had the wild orchid. They actually said wild orchid.
Yes, it was completely crazy, that one.
That one, it actually was described as a wild orchid.
I was quite nervous being anywhere near the cage.
Put a fence around it in case it rip your leg off. But
you always get the truth from my gardening section.
But I gotta be honest, we were impressed. In fact, when leaving through the doorway, I said to Caroline, could you wait a minute? I want to go back into the gentleman who I paid for us to come in. And the gentleman in there, slightly old, he was older than myself, shall we say. And he was sat there and his job was to take our monies. And I went in and I said, sir, I would just like to say that is the best value for money I've had visiting anywhere for £3.
Oh, it was ridiculous. £3 and you got it with it. Well, you saw potting sheds and down to
Free
the bottom
run
where
of
the river
all the
was.
grounds, all the ruins.
And you felt like it was your garden.
Yeah.
There were no signs saying go here, go this, follow this direction. You could just wander as if you were at home. I loved it.
You set up yourself, we're open until 5, you can stay as long as you like, do what you like. If you wanted to go into the house, then it was another £7 because you were going through their house. But then they, on the one floor upstairs, they had suits of armour from the time of the Civil War, and you could dress in a suit of armour.
Yeah, so if ever we go down again, I'm going and I want to try on a suit of armour.
And
I think it'll suit me.
And they said if somebody was unable to climb the stairs, they would give them a reduction on their ticket. But if they wished, they would bring down a suit of armour from. It was so kind, so helpful.
Really lovely one, very
and it wasn't a big business. This was his house, but he felt, having been gifted such history in the house, that he would share it with the public Sunday afternoons, and in doing so, raise a little bit more capital to be able to spend on.
Because he spent a lot on plants.
Yes, they did. But it was beautiful, absolutely stunning. And for £3 each, I couldn't believe it.
Ribble Finds and Crafts said, I have lots of yes plants in the garden. When someone tells me what they are, I say, yes, it is. Very clever.
Yeah. Well, we'd better have another question.
Okie dokie.
Because it's nearly past. On the subject of plants, see that seamless way?
I'm impressed. You're good at this. You should take it up professionally, you know.
I must be good. I've impressed myself. On the subject of plants, Caroline saw some stunning plants there, and there were beautiful plants out in the flower beds and around the place. But of course, the brightest and the most exuberant were in the greenhouse and the hot areas of the potting shed. And one of those was the bird of paradise plant, which is grown all around the world these days. But my question is, where did it originate?
Oh, paradise, obviously.
Was it A, South Africa, B, Mexico, or C, Brazil?
Go.
Where do you think, folks? Where do you think it grows in the wild and was brought back by those explorers and travellers that went out? Do you think they brought back bird of paradise plants from South Africa? That would be A. Mexico would be B. Brazil would be C. Where we
hello,
go?
D. Dorothy Papillon.
Hello, Dorothy.
Right, so we got... Oh, interesting. Who's got it right?
Well, we've got a full blend again.
Yeah.
We got them all. But there's a few more correct answers this time than last time.
There doesn't seem to be one answer standing out from the other, so...
No, there seems to be a pretty equal mix. Okay there, folks. I think everybody who's going to answer has answered.
Yeah.
We do have a winner, and yet again, the first answer in is correct. But this time, it's not Dan Fetters, because he's second answer in and he's wrong. Because Dan went with B, but the answer was A. It's South Africa. That's where the bird of paradise plant comes from. It was originally listed in the banana plants, but now has a specification virtually all of its own.
Ooh.
And and although I thought it looked like a bird, as in a crane with his neck up, and a bird, they said when you look at it, it looks like a bird flying.
It's a swooping bird, isn't it?
Taking off the top. And did you know this, folks?
Did you know?
I tell you what, I'll tell you the three correct answers.
Hello, Jeannie.
Then I'll tell you what you didn't know. Ed Creative, you're on a gold podium.
Oh, well done, Ed.
Rachel Bailey, you're on the silver podium.
Well done, Rachel.
And Christina Mitazaki.
Well done, Christina.
Yes, Christina.
Excellent.
Pipped Elizabeth Robson-Burley to the post.
Elizabeth.
They're next door to each other, but Christina just jumped on the podium first, getting the bronze. But well done to everyone. And a big thank you to everybody for joining in, because the quiz wouldn't be much fun if nobody gave us answers.
That's right, it's great fun.
But here's a bit of information. How do you think a bird of paradise plant is pollinated in the wild?
By dinosaurs.
No, it's not dinosaurs.
It's going to be something really silly, otherwise Phil wouldn't have mentioned it.
It's not silly, but it's unusual, I think.
By flooding in the desert.
No, it's by a creature.
Oh, by a creature. Okay, by a possum.
No.
No, a giraffe.
No. Catherine G says bats.
Crocodile.
Ed says Ed B2. You and Ed, you're on the same way.
I told you, Ed. Yeah. You're in trouble. You've got my sense of humour.
That's cheating. You can't say by animals when I said it's an animal. No, fish.
Yeah, well.
There we go. It's... Well, there we go. Bonnie Tyler fan.
Sunbird.
Yeah, and Lise Warren.
How many birds, Lise?
It is birds.
Oh, right. There we go.
It is birds. And if you look at the structure of it, they said that's why it's hard to evolve that structure. So that it can hold a bird. Most flowers, if a bird landed on a flower, it just
And a bird wouldn't go under as well, like an insect or in. So they are, I think they are, aren't they?
The birds land on it, and then they carry the pollen from one to the other. Rather than insects, they are pollinated by birds. And as they said, if the structure wasn't as it is, most flowers, you land on it and the stem would just snap over, the flower would break.
Happens the same when elephants pollinate things as well. Flattens loads in my garden.
It does. We've stopped using elephants to pollinate our apple tree.
I've got a big sign up, no elephant pollination, thank you very much.
Yeah, the neighbours just get funny when they see the elephant up the tree.
Phyllis said in America there's an old country song called May the Bird of Paradise Fly Up Your Nose. Right, I've got to write that down, I'm going to listen to it later. We'll look for it on YouTube. Now, if you want to carry on while I write this down. Otherwise...
Shall we have a look at more pictures?
Just a second. Fly up your nose.
Yep, we've got a couple of pictures. We've got some pictures from Rachel, haven't we?
Okay, Rachel is there.
Now, Rachel went out for tea with a friend. No prizes for guessing that it was at a golf club, because there we go. It's giving it all away now, isn't it? There's the golf players. Well, what do they call them?
Golfers.
Golfers, that's right. But this is to show that Barrow-in-Furness is truly by the sea. And the mountain range across the waters is part of the Lake District, I believe, which one of the mountains that's shown in one of the pictures, I believe, is the highest peak in England.
Which isn't that one, hang on.
Which is Scafell Pike.
I can't find that one now.
Oh, we've lost that one. There's also...
that one, there we go. Hey.
There's also in the view an extinct volcano.
Ooh.
But there's also a shot, I believe, if we've got it uploaded, of possibly the Walney offshore
wind farm. Right.
Not sure if it's got
that.
Right.
There we go.
That's probably
Sorry about that. That was terrible
now,
organisation.
There was two, and I think we've got the right one because they're saying it's one of the some of the largest wind turbines in England. So that's Rachel's view. Rachel Bailey, that was her view that she shared with us. It was windy, mind. And we thought we'd share with you.
All coming in off the sea.
Up there on the golf course, having tea with a friend. It's all right for some, isn't it?
Oh yes, they tend to have very nice... I don't know what that one's like, but I know our local golf course is a very nice restaurant. Very a la posh.
I've got a royal question.
Oh, a royal question. Here we go.
Would you like a royal question?
Brace yourselves, it's a royal question.
Now, in the video, there was a shot of a statue. No, not that kind of shot. Video shot of a statue. And on the statue was the inscription, Edward the Peacemaker. Now, this statue was presented to the town of Tiverton by Thomas Ford. He was a former mayor and a magistrate in the borough. And he was a very generous man, because he didn't only give the statue, but so that they could place it where it is on the bridge over the river, he paid to have the bridge widened so they could locate the statue there in the town. The statue was presented to commemorate the passing of the king when he died in 1910. It was actually unveiled in 1912, but it was commissioned for the passing of the king, because it is King Edward VII, famously off the front of the cigar box, who was known as the peacemaker. My question is, with what country did they credit King Edward making peace for the United Kingdom? Was it A, Spain, B, France, or C, Italy?
Go.
With which country did they credit the title Edward the Peacemaker? Why was he given that title?
I thought I'd try answering one and I got it wrong.
He developed diplomatic relations with a particular country, and in doing so, he brought about significant change, which some people were so impressed with, they gave him the nickname the Peacemaker, which was far better than his nickname when he was Prince of Wales and known as Dirty Bertie. Because if we'd gone down to Tiverton and seen a statue of the king with Dirty Bertie written under it, I think
you could draw the crowd.
They'd get a lot more people taking pictures, yes.
Yes.
But he was known as Dirty Bertie, but that is linked actually, because his reputation as Dirty Bertie is linked to his peacemaking efforts. So there, I tell you, I learned so much stuff.
Was his sister Dirty Gertie?
I don't think there was a Princess Gertie.
There was.
I love the fact that they say, oh, it was so strict back in the Victorian times, and he's Queen Victoria's second child, eldest son, and he got nicknamed Dirty Bertie. So I don't know what was going
why.
on.
Perhaps he just liked playing in the mud.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
So what is everybody saying? Let's have a look. Oh, well, we got a variety of answers again, haven't we? Let's have a look.
I'd say they're mainly bees. What do you reckon?
Yeah. But our first answer isn't B. Because
is it right?
This time there's been a change of fortunes. I had to double check that I hadn't gone too high and gone to the previous list. Excuse me. Oh.
Ready? One sneeze? Two sneezes? Phil can go on sneezing for ages.
I'm going to try and break my record because I always sneeze 3 times. Right then. This time, Ed was in first with C, which is incorrect. But Dan was in second with B, which is correct. It was France. It was France.
Yeah, I thought just go for something different. Just try Italy. It wasn't.
And then, to be honest, then we've got several B's in a row. Dan started an avalanche because it's Dan with the B. That's a gold.
Right, well
Lexi
done, Dan.
B.
Well done, Lexi.
Carlin Scott.
Well done, Carlin.
And just to mention in dispatches, Bonnie Tyler fan 34 got B.
Well done, Bonnie Tyler fan.
Straight after Carlin, as did Christine Midzaki. So those two came straight behind, and there's a few more B's below, but they were right there fighting for the third place.
In a galaxy far, far away, Darth. I'll have to start calling you Darth. It takes me forever to read that sentence. I knew B would be right eventually.
Yes, if you stick with it, it works.
Oh, Lexi, a swarm of bees.
Ooh.
Very good.
Yeah, it's...
Nearly there, Peggy.
It seems Dirty Bertie spent a lot of time in Paris.
Ed said his friend could be Muddy Monkey.
Yeah, he spent a lot of time in Paris, where he knew a lot of ladies as the prince, and his love of Paris and his development of relationships and getting to know everyone out there.
Very well.
Yes, very well indeed. Meant that when he became king, he built a tremendous rapport.
Bet he did.
And what do they call that thing that got signed?
Entente cordiale?
He's the guy that did it. He created, it was the king that created the Entente cordiale or whatever
it's
it's called.
Entente cordiale, isn't it?
Yeah, which brought to an end 1,000 years of hostility.
Of being nasty pasties.
We were constantly fighting back and forth. And it brought that to an end in his lifetime. he was labelled the peacemaker in 1912, but as someone pointed out, sometimes when you think you've got it all together, it all goes wrong, because then we had World War One in 1914. But he did achieve that. He did do that. So in fairness to him, because I needed to find out why he was listed, not as, I could understand the dates and everything and memory of the king, but why the peacemaker? And that was it. That cordial thing. He's the man. He's the man who made it possible. Yep, he was. There we go.
Ed said he had a swarm of bees or wasps in the communal garden outside his flat today. Someone must have disturbed a nest and they were gone in an hour. We've had experiences with bees, and apparently when the queen bee decides to move on, all the bees follow her, and we had them once coming down the lane at the side of our house, and it was just like a big cloud of bees. We won't mention the time she decided to fly up one of our chimneys. That wasn't funny.
Peggy Reid, for yourself and anyone else who got the correct answer, even if you don't get a podium, give yourself a pat on the back.
Did well. I didn't even get it right.
Because I know some people, they do the quiz later because they watch us after, and then they'll put up in the comments, I got 3 right tonight.
Yeah, that's excellent.
And there's no way they could get a podium because they're watching it the day after. But it's always a case, bit like running a marathon. You don't think you're going to come first, you're just running against last week's time. So if you could do better this week than last week, well done. Now then, what about some good news?
Okay then.
Do you want to do your good news or shall I do my good news?
Right, I've got mine written down on a piece of paper with my scribblings on the back.
That's my instructions.
That's my very scruffy handwriting with filled instructions.
That's what I had to work
click
off.
Start streaming at 8:50. Click France countdown straight away. Then
mic on.
10 seconds before the show starts. And we begin at 9.
And for some reason, she then wrote mic on in big letters again. I can't imagine why.
Because I just get a feeling Phil may have accidentally forgotten to turn the mic on. So I never would.
What's your happy story?
Anyway, my happy story. This is a grandmother and grandson from Ohio have been on a 7-year quest to visit all 63 US national parks. That's quite a quest.
That is.
On May the 16th, 2023, 93-year-old Joy Ryan made history, these with my glasses on, made history as the oldest living person to visit every US national park. I'm impressed. Her grandson Brad said it was the greatest privilege of my life to be in the driver's seat for Grandma's road trip. By the time she was 85, she'd never seen the ocean or mountains. Since then, she's rolled down the sand dunes in Colorado, went whitewater rafting and ziplining in West Virginia, found alligators in the Everglades and flown to the top of the Denali, the highest mountain peak in North America. Now that is pretty impressive. I wouldn't mind getting up to that sort of thing at that age.
I tell you what, it's just sheer optimism, isn't it? When you decide at 85, I'm going to try and visit 63 different places at 85. Most people are 85 are thinking, I wonder if I'll be here at Christmas.
Well, as George Burns said, at my age, I don't even buy green bananas.
That's right.
She certainly didn't have that attitude.
No.
She was going to go for it, and she did. Yeah. Mind you, how lovely to have a grandson who will help as well, because I think she couldn't have driven herself, because otherwise he wouldn't have taken her. So
yeah, no, it's nice. Good. It's a family story. It's about achievement. It's about don't limit yourself. And ultimately, the way I look at it, if that lady had passed away at 90 and only been to 50 parks, that's 50 lifetime experiences she never would have had if she'd sat there at 85 and thought, well, I'll never see the sea. Yeah. I'll never see the mountains. And it was her grandson was just stunned to realise his grandmother had never been to the ocean, never been to the mountains.
Well, I had some friends online, and I find it quite strange because, like our school trips, we went to Barry Island, which is about an hour away.
We live on an island, don't we?
Yeah, so the sea is just, it's lovely to see, and we always, I can see the sea, first went to see the sea on a journey, but to think that somebody's been all their life and never seen the sea for us is just strange. And so that doesn't surprise me, but I'm glad she got to see it, because I would imagine if you haven't actually seen the sea and paddled, then you're missing a treat. So if you haven't and you get the chance, pop to the sea and have a paddle, you'll love it.
Ed Creative said, wow. Catherine G said, way to go, Grandma. Darth said, wow. Lexi had seen the story on Facebook.
Right.
Yeah, there we go. A few people commenting there and engaging with that story. I just think it's nice, isn't it? It's nice to have those uplifting stories and to hear things that people have sort of just done different.
Out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
No.
And bringing out positive things, because it's so easy to get sucked into all of the negatives and the sort
social
of
media's always got bad things going on, and
I
the
know.
news is all doom and gloom.
And
if you're lucky, they'll say "and finally" and give you one little happy thing. But no, there's plenty of good things going on. It's just we don't get to hear about them.
Yeah, and in fairness, the reason we don't get to hear about them is because according to the media, and they should know, bad news sells. Well, not in this house, because I always work on the premise there's enough difficult things going on in any given day at any given time without going looking for more.
That's right.
So I look for the happy bits because that helps me to get on and deal with the rest.
Oh. Ed remembers going to Barry Island with his grandparents very often. Do you remember the numbers on the wall? Used to be 1, 2, 3 and 4 painted on the little things with the step, where the big pieces of wall with the steps going up, and your mother or your grandparent, whoever you were, now look, we're by number 3. Don't forget number 3. And then you go down to the beach, to the sea, you come back up and you, which one's number 3? And they were just a massive body, so it was a really good idea. Then the loudspeaker would go off. We have found a child called Rosemary Brown. Please would her parents come to the lost child office?
Yeah, they had a lost child department. Because
regularly losing
they just
children.
collect them and bring them and shout on the tannoy. Would you like another question, dear?
Why not? That's what I say.
Right here.
Peggy said, is it too late to make a bucket list at 72? Absolutely not. Why not?
No.
And the bigger and more extravagant, the better.
At the end of the day, that lady took on that challenge at 85.
Yeah, so you've got plenty of time before you even get to her age at 85, so go for it.
The best way to leave this earth is with one more thing to do. Because if you've got nothing left to do, then you start to feel you've stayed too long. But I always say, if you're going to pass with dreams and plans and ideas. Whatever they are, always have a plan. Because there's no guarantee you're going to do it, but dreaming about it, planning for it, it's all exciting. We always say planning for our trips is more exciting sometimes than going on the trip.
Well, the time for absolute maximum potential fun is the day you leave on your adventure, because after that then you arrive at a destination, perhaps you're moving on, but you've got one day less. Every day that ticks it away is one day less of potential. That's because it's gone. So that I love that. When we first get in the car, we set off and think, right, this is the biggest amount of potential I have for this adventure. And I love adventures. I've always got another adventure in me.
There we go. Another adventure we will have. German composer.
Right.
Felix Mendelssohn never wrote the wedding march to be performed at a wedding. Because, as I mentioned in the video, the link with Mendelssohn is that the wedding march was played on the 17th century organ at the church. It was actually written to be performed in a Shakespeare play.
Ooh.
Which one? Do you think
now,
it was A, Romeo and Juliet, B, The Midsummer Night's Dream, or C, Othello?
Go.
And I should warn you, it's no point looking on this sheet because I've highlighted the wrong answer.
I
know the right answer.
Let's have a look. I went for that one.
You're still wrong.
Oh, come on. That's not fair.
What do you think, folks? Do you think that when Mendelssohn wrote what we now know as the wedding march, that is played in weddings all over the world every day of the week, when he wrote it, do you think he wrote it to be played as part of Shakespeare's A, Romeo and Juliet, B, Midsummer Night's Dream, or C, Othello? Let's have a look.
Do we have a winner? I know we got a winner. I know we got lots of people who followed my idea.
I can tell you now, there are people who agree with it and are wrong.
Yep.
But most people have avoided the trap.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
You know Phil Sneaky. If there's an obvious answer on there, it's probably not the one.
Because it's the wedding march, I thought people may go for Romeo and Juliet.
Right, it crossed my mind,
yes,
and then I changed my mind.
You avoided that. And you jumped to the other end of the scale. You went Othello, and that was wrong. So actually, it is Midsummer Night's Dream. It was written in the mid-1800s, 1842, I believe, for a production of Shakespeare's Midsummer Night's Dream. That's what it was written for. Never intended to be used in a wedding until somebody decided, oh, that's a nice tune.
And now everybody knows it, is it?
And it became the wedding march. So let's have a look who got that right, because the correct answer is B, which I've got 3 in a row. First 2 got it wrong because they went with Caroline. Ed and Dan both went
understandable,
with Othello.
Yes, I can see how highly intelligent people would have gone for Othello.
But
Stick with that story, okay? We'll be all right.
But then we got 5 B's in a row. But only 3 can have a podium. First, Lexi B again.
Yeah, Lexi said 2 weddings in A Midsummer Night's Dream, so there we go.
Girl who knows her
She
stuff.
does.
English
Well
literature
done,
buff.
Lexi.
English literature buff, look. Trained in a Welsh uni. Next to Lexi B, the next B is Rachel Bailey.
Well done, Rachel.
Now, it's uncanny this.
Uncanny.
Because we got Lexi B said B, we got Rachel Bailey said B, and we got Bonnie Tyler fan 34 said B. Look, all with B's in the name.
Well done, Bonnie Tyler fan.
And a quick mention to Ribble Finds and Crafts and Carlin Scott, because you were the 2 runners up in the 5 in a block. There were others got it right, but there we go. Lexi, Rachel, and Bonnie Tyler fan 34. You got the podium places because it was written for Midsummer Night's Dream, and Lexi has just shared with us that nugget of information.
Lee said, sorry, Mr. Pot, I was cutting onions for supper. What are you having with onions for supper? I love onions.
Now, one of our regulars who isn't with us tonight is Adam.
Yes.
Adam's put in a lot of hours recently on other projects as well as his videos.
Yeah.
He's also now training to be a guard, and I think he's going to end up running the railway. I think he'll be like he'll have to put on a bit of weight to be the fat controller, but I can see him being the controller.
Oh yes,
definitely.
He's very dedicated and loves it. So.
And of course, he definitely won't be with us in 2 weeks' time because he's doing his talk. So have we got the pictures of Adam? Now, they were small images, so they may pixelate for people, but we'll put them up because people on phones will definitely be able to see it. There is Adam up on the cab of the train at their local heritage railway. And there he is.
He's very, well, what you call it? Is it smutty they call smuts?
Oh, no, he's probably grown a moustache.
Smuts? No, I don't think so. I think it's...
But he's got his shirt and tie on, so
he's looking very clean.
Smart boy, and I can tell...
And he's been loading coal. You can see he's got his gloves on.
Yeah,
that looks like a great fun thing to do.
Yeah, and he's definitely enjoying himself there. So we thought we'd share those images of Adam, who is putting... And it's lovely to see a young man putting in hours in a voluntary role.
Yeah.
Because quite often you see the older generation who've retired take up these roles, which is fantastic. But I'm sure they're encouraged when young people come and join in and get involved. So well done to Adam for that. And a big shout out if you happen to live in that area over in Kent and you're looking for somewhere to go. I believe it's 3 o'clock, 2 weeks today. Adam is doing a talk in his town.
Yes, if you want to pop along, check with Adam. I think that there's a poster up on Facebook as well. If you look at
there is on our Facebook page.
It's like I've taken it off my thing, so I can't show you.
But it is on our Facebook page.
Yep, it's on our Facebook page.
It's on our Let's Go Facebook page as well, showing that Adam is going to be putting on a show for his local community, and he's putting out his finds, and he's doing a history talk using his finds, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah,
absolutely fantastic.
Oh, Lise is having steak and onions. Tasty. And Ed said onions and liver. I used to love fried onions and fried liver. So I liked it. I quite liked the cooking gravy as well, right? My preference was fry it all up and then put loads and loads of tomato sauce on it.
Right. I'm going to do my good news.
Go on then. Do you want a jingle or do you want to
I'll have a jingle.
Go straight for
No, I want a jingle. I don't work without jingle. I won't work.
There you go. You happy now?
Yes. My happy news comes under the heading and headline, Paralysed man walks naturally after groundbreaking brain implant. In a groundbreaking scientific achievement, a paralysed man from the Netherlands has defied all odds and taken his first step in 10 years. Oscar, who is 40, lost his ability to walk in 2011 when he was injured his spine in a cycling accident. The spinal cord injury interrupted the communication between his brain and the region of the cord that produced walking. But Swiss researchers restored this communication with what they've called a digital bridge between the brain and the spinal cord, and after a few weeks of training and physical physiotherapy, he could walk and stand with the aid of a walker.
That must have felt amazing.
Well, one of the scientists said that it was such an emotional event because what dawned on them is if we can see a man step out of a wheelchair after 10 years, what could we do with this technology for someone who was in an accident 10 weeks ago and as part of their recovery process place one of these implants? So for this man, a decade of not walking means he's got a lot of muscle work to do, just to stand again, But they were so excited, and I thought, what wonderful news, because it is so tragic, so sad when we hear such sad stories of people who are injured and hurt. But it's lovely to hear that whilst science may do some things that make us worry, they are doing a lot of things that are doing us good. And I thought that was exciting news.
It is. Very good.
Inspirational.
Yes, and offers a lot of hope to a lot of people.
Would you like a question?
Okay, I'll just read this first.
Go on, then.
Rachel Bailey said, my great-uncle Arthur was a fireman for Great Western Railways. From a child cleaning the engines, he was even a fireman on the Flying Scotsman.
Oh, Rachel, that makes you famous.
Yeah,
definitely.
That's one exciting life.
That is definitely name dropping there. I tell you, when I was a boy and went train spotting, I would have loved to have met someone who had ever been working on the Flying Scotsman. That would have been great.
Right, question then.
Right, yes, the penultimate one. Okay. There were a lovely couple that we met. Don't know their names, but they were a lovely couple. They not only told us that the owl was in the tree, but then the gentleman lent us his binoculars and offered us to take a look. So Caroline and I both saw a tawny owl right on a branch, back against the tree, stood over the river.
I tried filming it, but I couldn't get... The GoPro's not really good at zooming in, so that's why I took a little bit of stock footage to show you.
Yeah, but the stock footage was of an identical bird. It's in a very... Obviously, they feel safer with their back against the tree.
If I'd had a posh camera, that's what it'd have looked like.
So my question is, the tawny owl is the most common of the 5 resident owl species in the British Isles. How many breeding pairs approximately are there? Do you think it's A, 50,000 breeding pairs, B, 100,000 breeding pairs, or C, 200,000 breeding pairs?
Go!
How many breeding pairs of tawny owls? It's the most common. The second most common is the barn owl.
That's sneaky. He's saying it's the most common, so he's trying to lead me into saying C. So,
barn owl is
psychology?
next. Then you've got the small-eared and the long-eared, and the other resident that we have is the small owl. But the small owl was never actually meant to be here. It was brought into Britain in 1810.
Right.
It's an introduced species, the small owl.
Is the answer?
There.
I was going to go for that, and I thought, no, he tried leading me the one way, he's not leading me the other way and go smack down the middle.
Right then. So, let's have a look.
Wrong again.
Ooh, we've got correct answers.
Yeah.
Well done. Okay. It's starting to look like deja vu or Groundhog Day on you, because Dan and Ed are coming in first and second every time virtually. They're one way or the other, but they don't always get the right answer. And this time, Ed got led astray.
Right.
He went for the 200,000, which is incorrect, but Dan got it right this time. because it's 50,000 breeding pairs.
Well done, Dan.
Yeah, that's 50,000 breeding pairs in Scotland, England and Wales, but there are no tawny owls in Ireland.
No snakes in Ireland.
It's not just snakes they haven't got. Obviously, when St. Patrick, the Welsh St. Patrick, was over there getting rid of all the snakes, he got rid of the owls as well.
Must have done.
They're not in. That's what I read today. So Dan, congratulations. You've taken the top slot. Runner up on the silver podium, Linda Peterson is there again. Linda. And then this time, managing to nudge the way into the third place, Elizabeth.
Oh, well done, Elizabeth.
Robson Burley took the third podium.
Excellent.
Well done to the three of you. Right then. So all that's left to do now, because our time is gone,
it's the last question.
That usual debate.
Here we go.
That great debate that is gone through every single week, and this week is no different. How many places did you see Manky appear in this week's video? A, 2, B, 3, or C, 4?
Go!
So far, I've got it wrong nearly every week, and I'm the question master. He keeps hiding from me.
Darcy, oh no!
What are you thinking, folks? What are you thinking? Do you think it's 2, 3, or 4?
Oh, Ribble finds and crafts 3 times at 1 minute 48, 5 minutes 52, and 13:36.
Ooh!
Was it another one though?
Have you got them all?
Ed said may have miscounted.
Right then, let's have a quick look.
Interesting.
Let's have a quick. Oh gosh, everybody's keen to get it right this week. Lots of
not that we ever come up with the absolute definitive answer on this.
Very daft. Oh no! Right then. Ooh. Ah.
E-buy gum.
Right then.
Well, nobody's put in 6, have they?
No. My answer, nobody has exceeded my answer this week, I don't think.
That's positive.
No, nobody's arguing above, which is good, because last week I got it wrong. The answer is 4. Okay, which means Catherine G.
Well done, Catherine.
First one with a 4, then I got to scroll down then, because there we go. Rachel Bailey.
Well done, Rachel.
And Peggy Kraft.
Well done, Peggy.
And most people were going with 3. Christina Cook got 4.
Well done, Christina.
Jeannie Nash got 4.
Well spotted, and well spotted, Jeannie.
And there's another 4 there from Dorothy.
Well done, Dorothy.
So there we go. They're the ones with the 4s, and I'll tell you where they were for those, because a couple of people have commented earlier and thought there were 3. Let's see which one you missed. At St. Paul's Church, the first church, when Caroline scanned around to the head on the door, Manky was in a little recess up on the wall. Then, when Caroline was smelling the roses, Manky came in and had a smell of the roses. Manky was also on the cannon in the garden in the castle. And finally, Manky was climbing the wall when Caroline said, "Can we see light up the chimney?" Manky was scurrying up the wall. So they are the 4 that I saw. No one saw 5.
No. So which one did you miss? Do you know if you missed particularly one of those? Just wondering. Oh, Jeannie Nash had 200,000. Sometimes I think we could go for that because we keep discovering new times.
Yeah, there we go. So, there we go. Missed the cannon one. There we go. Ribble finds and craft. Yeah, I try now. What I do is I write down where I saw him, so then I can know what I missed if I get it wrong. Because last week I watched that. I knew he was in that church doorway. I watched it 3 times and didn't see him. And I thought Caroline had cut the edit and he'd got missed. But what she'd done, she'd cut it very quick, and I was missing it when I was going through the video.
But Ed missed the first one.
Yeah, Bonnie Tyler fan missed the first one.
Right.
Yeah, it was at the intro at the first church when you look at the beginning, you see it come round there, and he's up in a little recess.
He comes up with suggestions. What if I go here? And he's pretty good at it.
He is. You wait until we turn up in Disneyland in a few weeks' time. We done our video of Euro Disney, and he had a wild time over there.
He did.
He really enjoyed himself.
Andrea missed the first one too, so that seems to be the one that caught everyone out.
Yeah, it's one on the Canon and everyone else on the... Well, there we go. Well, at least I didn't miss one this week, which is kind of good, considering I'm
Oh, that wasn't too bad this week, was it?
posing as the question master.
Some weeks it's like, oh... Anyway,
it's
thank
all
you
done.
ever so much for
Time
joining
gone.
us. It's been great fun. I've loved
Indeed.
reading all your chat as well. And thank you for joining us on a Saturday night when you could be doing lots of other things. But you
50
hop
people
around,
after an hour.
Yeah.
50 people still
hop
with
around our
us.
house for a party. It's great.
Fantastic.
Right, so we'll see you all next time. But until then, don't forget, don't go. Until then, yes.
Are you putting out a video?
Oh yes, I'm going to be putting out what I've noticed. We get in a lot of footage that I don't use in these videos. So what I'm doing is I don't know how often I can do it. I'm going to try keeping it up every week, but it may not happen. But I'm putting videos to music, and I'm making them really relaxing at the moment. So if you want to put something on to doze off to sleep, there will be an ad at the beginning, but there's no ads right the way through it then. So you can knock it on, drift off to sleep. So that'll probably be out on Tuesday.
Yeah,
so,
that will be shots of Tiverton, that some from the video, but other additional stuff that Caroline's just put together.
Just to make a nice
Because what we don't want to do in the videos each week is have stacks of music and no sort of interaction. So Caroline's had a go at that this week, so that should be out on Tuesday.
Yes. So now,
indeed,
we'll see you all next time.
We will.
But until then, don't forget...
Have fun!
Bye!
Bye!